Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. Today, Behind Enemy Lines, World War II Allied and Axis Propaganda. This is a strange find. My wife and I had to leave the area because of previously noted car alarm and decided that we would go to an area, distinctly nicer area, that has a really nice second-hand bookstore that I frequent purely because I like to maintain some connection with these kind of bookstores. I discovered 3 books through this, but the heaviest hardcover book that I found was Behind Enemy Lines. And this is a fascinating book about the leaflets that were dropped or left for Allied troops as they advanced, and similarly Axis troops in one form or another. The Germans were absolutely brilliant associated with their propaganda. And the propaganda that is highlighted here uses 2 elements that I think are absolutely masterful. The first is nudity. The propaganda features naked women and features documentation which seems to mean that if Allied soldiers were to discover this, the naked women alone would be relatively tantalizing to them. The second theme that is followed associated with the naked women is that, and this is particularly pertinent for British soldiers, that American soldiers are currently in the UK, currently with their women, and their women are not going to remain faithful when American soldiers are there just mulling around, basically. And this is a fascinating piece of propaganda because it plays on the fears of every foot soldier in the trenches, that while they're over fighting this war, this is extended for year after year, that their womenfolk may actually be in the arms of another man. And this is represented in so many of these leaflets, so interestingly tailored to different kinds of men, married men, men with girlfriends, these kind of ideals that you have to really hand it to the German propagandists associated with this. Another interesting theme that the German propaganda used was that surrendering soldiers, particularly surrendering American soldiers, would be treated very well by the Germans. And to this propaganda, there are examples of 10 soldiers, 2 soldiers, a soldier who has been captured and who is used in the propaganda to identify the fact that they're not being mistreated, they're in fact being fed very well, being looked after by cute nurses in military hospitals, that their life is actually better off the front line and in a German hospital of some description. Again, brilliant propaganda, not quite as interesting and as permeating as the propaganda that involves nudity and a focus on the womenfolk back home, but still really interesting in the context of the Second World War. I concluded the scanning of my grandfather's war photos, and I'm really in a mentality currently which is heavily aligned with Second World War ideas, a Second World War feeling, emotion, a sense visually, because I've consumed so many of these images associated with my grandfather. So reading this book and seeing these photos and looking at the various kinds of language and ideas that are used here, this is just a fascinating book, and an eclectic find in a second-hand bookstore that I think has added a new dimension to my ideas. A nice thing to find. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.